This meeting is a meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There will be time for public participation as indicated by the agenda. The meeting site is fully accessible. Any person requiring further accommodation should contact superintendent at the school corporation's central office. We'll open with call to order with a pledge of allegiance, followed by, or moment of silence, followed by a pledge of allegiance. Mr. Hendricks, would you lead us?
I will. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As far as roll call, Ms. Keith is out today for a work conference, and online virtually we have Ms. Jones. So we will be taking roll call for every vote that we have today because of our policy requirements for virtual attendance. But we do have a quorum. Mission statement, Ms. Hutchison.
Yeah. Lebanon Community School Corporation will cultivate and reach every student by influencing and enriching their lives through the power of education and do so in a positive and safe learning environment.
All right, thank you. Approval of minutes for the June 21st, 2022 regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Thank you. We have a first and second. Any comments? With that, we will take roll call vote. Ms. Hutchison.
Aye.
Mr. Hendricks. Ms. Jones.
Aye.
And aye as well. Passes. Item number 3, certify executive content for the June 21st executive session to discuss job performance evaluation of individual employees. Do we have a motion to certify executive content?
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Hendricks. Second.
I'll second.
Jones. Any comments? All in favor? Roll call again. Ms. Hutchison.
Aye.
Mr. Hendricks. Ms. Jones.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 4, superintendent's announcements and celebrations.
Thank you, Mr. Parks. Just a few announcements this evening. First, I wanted to take a moment and congratulate our own Dr. Taylor, former superintendent, most recently given an award by the Indiana University Educational Leadership organization at IU. He was named IU School Administrators Association Special Contributions Award. And so that was awarded to him this past week, and they tweeted out about that, and certainly well-deserved as he works on superintendent's behalf and school board's behalf now as the executive director of the Superintendents Association in Indiana, and we appreciate all of his efforts in supporting not only our public schools, but the pipeline of teachers through the universities as well, like Indiana University. So congratulations for a well-deserved honor for Dr. Taylor. Wanted to just take a moment and thank our administrators and teachers who returned not too long ago, last week or so of June, traveled to the International Center for Leadership and Education, ICLE, or model schools. The board may recall a short briefing from Dr. Linda Jordan, who's been working with our schools in a coaching capacity for our teachers as well as our administrators here as part of ICLE. The Model Schools Conference is really one of the highest level conferences for best practices in professional development in the country. You hear from practitioners, people who are on the ground doing the work, as well as some incredibly inspirational thought leaders, authors in the field of education. We had quite a representation. We had 61 representatives of Lebanon schools attend this national conference. That included 24 elementary teachers, 24 teachers from the secondary level, and 13 administrators, including almost all of our building level administration. We actually had a teacher attend virtually as well, as they were unable to make the trip with the larger group. It's just a testament to the commitment that our teachers and administrators have year-round to our students and our schools, and so I just wanted to express my thanks to them for taking that time this summer for that commitment and making a difference for our kids. So thank you to them. And lastly, in less than 2 weeks, we'll be welcoming our teachers back for their first day, and almost 2 weeks to the day welcoming our students back. So we are fired up to see all of them. Whether they're fired up to see us or not, it may be up for debate. But thanks again to our entire buildings and grounds maintenance, custodial, food service, technology, of course, which a lot of that work happening over the summer. Our clerical staff that's handling the in and out of student enrollment that happens in any school district throughout the summer. There's just so many moving parts right now that go unseen maybe to the public, that is not unappreciated. So I wanted to make
a lot
sure.
of parking lots being
A
sealed.
lot of parking lots being
other
sealed,
construction,
yes.
yeah.
A lot of painting being done,
Yeah.
a lot of whiteboards being mounted, a lot of work going on. And I'll point back here to Chief Smith as well, as we know that's a topic always, but certainly a recent topic about school safety, and he just returned from a national conference himself, listening again to practitioners and national experts in the area of school safety. So we appreciate his commitment and all of our SROs as they prepare for the school year as well. So it's just around the corner. So that's all I have for my announcements this evening.
All right, thank you. Item number 5, consent agenda, staff matters.
Yes, I guess I'm up again. Thank you. Tonight, under our classified staff, we do have one custodial position and one school secretary position for the board's consideration. We are also recommending this evening that Brittany Robbins, who currently serves as a corporation accountant, be reassigned to a new title, to a deputy treasurer role. With that will come some additional responsibilities that you can see listed in your board packet, and with a commensurate recommendation for a salary adjustment to reflect those new responsibilities in her role. So that is it for the classified staff this evening. For certified staff, we have received letters of resignation from Madison Malik, from Hattie B. Stokes Elementary, Heather Holman Harrell, English teacher here at Lebanon High School, and Carrie Howerton, math teacher here at Lebanon High School. Ms. LaCrone is recommending Samantha Ford for a teaching position at Central Elementary first grade. Dr. Dye is recommending Natalie Benavides for a first grade position at Harney Elementary. Mrs. Salman is recommending Shane Levins for a third grade teaching position at Hattie B. Stokes. Mrs. Moore is recommending Jane Ann Owen as a third grade teacher, and Ryan Christopher for fifth grade, and Katie Mezzo for first grade at Perry Worth Elementary School. Mr. Dunchey is recommending Catherine Patterson for an English position at Lebanon Middle School, and Megan Alexander, welcoming her back to Lebanon schools for a role as a technology teacher. And Mr. O'Rourke is recommending Dustin Grove, yes, that Dustin Grove alumni, to teach English here at Lebanon High School. Excited to have him returning to Lebanon as a teacher now, as he fondly has reminisced on air about his time here at Lebanon as a student. Zachary Wagner is being recommended for a math position here at the high school, and Tanya Stanhope for a math position here at the high school. Finally, under certified staff, Diane Scott is recommending Hannah Anderson for a district-wide LCSE ELL teaching position to cover many of the new requirements in the ELL world. It's requiring some additional staff. Be happy to answer questions about that if you have them. So that is it for the certified staff this evening. And in extracurricular, Ms. Scoble is recommending some coaches here this evening for the tennis program, boys tennis. Mr. Levine is recommending positions in boys tennis, freshman volleyball, volunteer boys soccer, volunteer cross-country coaches times 2. And that is my recommendations for staff matters this evening.
Busy off season, huh?
And we're still going. As you can see, we have a few resignations this evening that at least a couple of them are not filled. Mr. Hendricks, did I miss one?
Just Mr. O'Rourke's last recommendation.
Thank you very much. Under ECA, thank you, Mr. Hendricks. Mr. O'Rourke is recommending Emily Wolfgang as a co-sponsor for the student council position here at the high school. Thank you for that.
Right. Do we have a motion for consent agenda items for classified, certified, and ECA staff? Ms. Hutchison. Second?
I'll second.
Mr. Hendricks, second. We'll take roll call. Ms. Hutchison.
Aye.
Mr. Hendricks.
Aye.
Ms. Jones.
Aye.
Aye. I forgot to open up for comment. Sorry. Yeah, okay. All right. Motion passes. Consent agenda, business matters. Mr. Dennis, welcome, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. Good evening to the board. Included in the board packet tonight are 2 pages of what I'll call a financial update for board meetings moving forward. Quite a bit of data on there, and I don't know what I'd read specifically, but I know that you've had time to review that, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that have emerged after looking at that for year-to-date through June 30th.
Do we do A and B both financial together?
We can.
We can.
Yeah, I only see 6B you're talking about.
6A, financial update and approved
Yeah,
claims.
the financial update, he would, yeah, we need to maybe read the claims into the record, and then they would vote on 6B if they don't have any questions about the update.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure there were no questions
Any
about
questions?
the update before
No
reading the
questions.
docket.
Excellent, by the way.
Thank you.
Pie charts are great.
I understood. I know an engineer would appreciate that.
We
So-
do recommend, if you do have additional questions, not to pile more work on our new CFO, but we tried to dial in areas that the board tends to ask questions about in a visual manner, as you can see. And if there are additional informations or other graphs that you may need from one meeting to the next, we'll be happy to try to provide those for you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, claims for the month then that I'll ask for approval for. First of all, total claims for the docket for check numbers 55919 through 56055 totaled $1,692,596.14, along with our payroll of $1,674,090.32 for a total of $3,366,686. Excuse me, I knew I'd mess this number up. $3,366,686.46. There we go. Approval on those claims requested, please.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve claims for payment 55919 through 56055 and payrolls for June 24th, 2022 and July 8th, 2022 in the total amount of $3,366,686.46?
I'll motion.
Ms. Jones, motions. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Hendricks, seconds. Ms. Hutchison? Or comments, questions? No. Okay. Ms. Hutchison? Aye. Mr. Hendricks?
Aye.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Motion passes. Comments from the public? We do not have anybody signed up to speak. Item number 7. So on to action items. Action item 8A, Mr. Dennis.
Yep, Board, I come to you tonight, ask for action on a resolution to issue a tax anticipation warrant. This is a lever within the DLGF budget process. Basically, should the county not be able to provide our tax settlement in time for our debt payments to be made, a tax anticipation warrant is an item of debt that would then provide a line of credit for us. It's a cash flow loan, basically, to make our debt payments, as those would still be due if the county would not be able to provide our settlement. That has not happened for an extremely long time. This resolution specifically is asking for your permission to levy for the interest on that cash flow loan as a part of the 2023 budget process. So happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I appreciate action on this.
All right. Do we have a motion to request approval for the resolution to issue a tax anticipation warrant?
I'll motion.
Mr. Hendricks? Do I have a second?
Second.
Well, Ms. Hutchison beat you. We'll let you go the next time. How's that? Any comments,
That's
questions?
okay. The delay.
With that, we'll do roll call. Ms. Jones, we'll start you out. How's that? All in
Aye.
favor? Aye. Mr. Hendricks?
Aye.
Ms. Hutchison? Motion passes. Item 8B, request approval for LMS overnight trip to Washington DC. Mr. Martin?
The eighth grade is back on schedule after COVID to be in the fall. So the dates for this requested trip is October 11th through 15th. Again, organized by Mr. Poston and Mrs. Hood. It's Washington DC by title, but they're also going to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
It's an excellent trip. Did it in May, so. Do we have a motion to approve a LMS overnight trip to DC?
All motion.
Mr. Hendricks? Do I have a second? It appears we might have lost Ms. Jones. You're there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Ms. Hutchison
Sorry about
seconded. Do we have any comments, questions? Again, excellent trip.
Yeah.
So.
No.
Ms. Hutchinson? Aye. Mr.
Aye.
Hendricks? Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Item 8C, request approval for buyer fund donation to LHS Agricultural Department.
The ag teachers continue to be busy, and their hard work is actually fostering connections that they gain throughout our community as well as through the FFA and ag education community. And this time, it was a nomination from a patron in the area that connected the ag department to Bear Foundation, who is donating $5,000 to our agriculture program, an FFA program. Again, much like the previous grant, very few strings attached to this. Betterment of activities for students, opportunities for students in the program. Can grow it in the area materials, supplies, help on some of their judging trips perhaps. It can be used in a variety of ways. So very pleased to bring this for your consideration this evening. The only stipulation in this was that we would allow Bear to use our program and students in their advertising. And so we do have requirements through the state of Indiana to make sure students, parents who have indicated that they do not wish to have the image of their child published. So I did ask them to stipulate that in the final signing of the agreement for this, but as long as there's no concerns from the parents or restrictions on the students' images and names and likenesses, that we'll be fine complying with that. So didn't anticipate that question, but it's probably a good thing to talk about from time to time with our public. So happy to bring this for recommendation for approval.
Well, thank you. Do we have a motion for the acceptance of this donation to the Ag Department?
I'll motion.
Ms. Jones? Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hendricks? Have any comments, questions?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is Bayer as in like Bayer aspirin?
Yeah, like Bear aspirin bear, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My understanding.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. We'll take a roll call. Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Hendricks?
Aye.
Ms. Hutchison? Aye. Motion passes. Item 8D, approval of Witham OTPT contracts.
Yes, bringing this for your approval. This, of course, is an annual approval. These are requirements for our students that have these special needs for us to provide these services. As we've been a longtime partner with Witham to provide these services. I did provide for the board just a little background about our current fee per student through Witham for these services. You'll see a slight increase for the certified rate, both certified and the assistant rate. I would classify those in today's inflationary environment as moderate increases. So I'm pleased to bring those to you for your approval this evening.
Do we have a motion to approve Witham OTPT contracts? Ms. Hutchison? Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hendricks? Any comments, questions about this? All right. Take a roll call one last time. Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Hendricks?
Aye.
Ms. Hutchison? Aye. 8D passes. On to item 9, informational items. Mr. Dr. Milner.
Thank you, Mr. Parks. We are required again by statute to provide an update in the meeting of the governing board prior to August 1 of each year. The results by percentage and number of our teacher evaluation data from the previous school year. So this item is sharing with the board that for the 21-22 school year, LCSE rated 154 teachers as highly effective, representing 61.8% of the evaluations, 94 at the effective level, that's represented by 37.8% of the staff, and one ineffective, which is 0.4 of 1% of the staff. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. I certainly thank our administration, including our central office administration, for continuing to review our teacher evaluation process and plan. We have robust conversations with our Teachers Association on this topic throughout the school year. They ask a lot of good questions. I feel like it's a productive dialogue that we have in hoping to make our model better. We have some ongoing discussion coming up in the next couple months on this very topic. So we appreciate that relationship with the teachers and trying to make this process stronger every year. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Do we have any questions?
No questions.
One ineffective teacher,
Mm-hmm.
will that person be put on an improvement plan? What are the?
Sure. Typically, what would happen in a rating of that nature would include a plan at some point throughout the school year. And then there's through policy as well as through Indiana code, there's processes attached to that to assist the teacher, the length of the improvement plan, et cetera. As a matter of fact, it even stipulates the components of the improvement plan that need to be part of that process. So that's a great question. And yes, in an ineffective situation, and also if there was in a category of improvement necessary, which was not reflected in this year's data, would have the same result.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Next, upcoming board meetings and events. First staff day, again, August 1st. First student day, August 4th. Budget work session, we have August 16th in the community room here at 5 p.m. Then regular board meeting on August 16th as well at 7 p.m. Next month. So with that, our meeting's